Welcome to the Pretty Powerful Podcast, where powerful women are interviewed every week to share real inspiring stories and incredible insight to help women or anyone break the barriers, be a part of innovation, shatter the glass ceiling, and dominate to the top of their sport, industry, or life's mission. Join us as we celebrate exceptional women and step into our power. And now, here's your host, Angela Gennari.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Pretty Powerful Podcast. My name is Angela Gennari, and today I'm here with Katie Brinkley. Hi, Katie.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. So, Katie Brinkley is the author of The Social Shift and is redefining social media marketing with a less is more philosophy. With 19 years of experience, she innovates with a unique four-post strategy, fostering growth with minimal posting. This is interesting because it totally goes against everything we've heard. So I can't wait to dive into this. So tell me, first of all, what made you get to this point? What made you want to go into specifically social media marketing?
Yeah, so I actually started with social media back in the days of MySpace, helping bands with their
Ooh,
MySpace pages. Yeah, yeah, I'm
yeah.
old. You're talking to a dinosaur here, folks.
Yeah.
But I loved social media. I thought it was a really cool way to grow our network and to
Mhm.
meet new people. And back when I was messing around on MySpace, I had no idea that being a social media anything would ever be a possibility.
Isn't that
Um,
crazy?
I mean, look, think about how much things have changed.
Hmm.
It's crazy. And yeah, so I mean, I started by helping bands with their MySpace pages. I was a former radio journalist, so I did the post-game interviews for the Rockies and Broncos. And then about a decade ago, I was laid off from my job. My position was moved to Atlanta, and so I chose to take the severance package. And honestly, it was the best thing that happened for me.
Yeah.
So it allowed me to start my own social media agency, and now I get to do something that I love every day. But I think the biggest differentiator, like you said, is even though I have a social media agency, I I kind of hate being on social media. I mean, like, this is the thing. Like, how can we build those connections? How can we build community? How can we get more business?
Hmm.
Social media is one of the best ways to do it. But it almost feels like we kind of have to sell our soul to Mark
Yeah.
Zuckerberg if we want to have any sort of results. But I figured out a way. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. And so, yeah, and I agree. I mean, like, I'm not much of a social media person. Like, if you look at my personal Facebook, like, you rarely see anything. Like, like, is she dead? Like, what has happened with her? She hasn't posted anything in months. And then all of a sudden, but like my LinkedIn is every day, every day. But I also have people helping me manage that. So it's
Yep.
different. Like I can, I have somebody managing my company page and I'm just like share, 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 share. Like, it just looks busier. But my
Yeah.
personal ghost. So yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. So I'm really interested to know a little bit more about this four-post strategy you have here. So what is that about?
Yeah. So it's designed for people that don't want to be on social media so much.
Hmm.
I think that with COVID, something that happened is all of a sudden we're like, oh, we have nothing better to do. I might as well just go on social media.
Yeah.
And a great thing happened is we made great more connections. We made having connections like this where you meet. I remember I went to an Colorado Avalanche game with my uncle, and
Yeah.
this was pre-COVID, and on the sign it said, like on the end board, it was said Zoom, and he goes, "What's Zoom?" And I was like, "Oh, it's this thing called like where you do like video messaging." He's like, who does that? I was like, well, I use it for
Ah,
work, but I mean, like, we don't really ever turn our cameras on. I mean, like,
yeah.
and think about how much things have changed now. And because of COVID, now we want to see who we're talking to. We want
Yeah.
to know who we're doing business with. And then the world opened up though, and it's like, well, we have businesses to run.
Mm,
How am I supposed to be dancing on TikTok and writing LinkedIn newsletters and doing all these things all the time and showing up as the face of my business when, like I'm trying to like, get more leads. I'm the face, like I have to be managing my business. And so even though I have a social media agency, I'm a business owner first. And so
mm,
I looked at what posts do the best for each different desired outcome.
huh.
And how can we do those types of posts so that we can just post for our audience and get better results, be on less platforms, and get in, get out, and grow our business. And that's where the four post strategy came to life.
I love it. So does this mean like you're only making 4 posts a week? Is that what that means?
Hey, girl, if you want to be, you do you. If you want to do four posts a day and use this strategy, you can.
Yeah.
I do 3 posts a week. I mean,
Wow. I
I just
love it.
rotate it through and do this strategy for three. But I mean, a lot of people do it for like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, or whatever. So
Yeah, yeah,
whatever works best for you and your audience. That's,
yeah.
it's a framework that works, and I hopefully it will give you back more time, and you'll be able to kind of enjoy being on social media again.
Yeah. So is it about predictability? Is that what helps with social media engagement, or is it just like I don't understand algorithms at all. Like I feel like once you do start to understand it, they change it up on you and then it's a different thing and you have to like try to learn it again. So I just try not to pay attention to it because I'm like, okay, this post is doing really, really well. And I don't understand it because the one that I wrote that was like 10 times I thought better is like, crickets. So,
And this comes down to like really knowing who your audience is on each
mhm,
platform.
mhm.
What is it that they need from you, and what does the platform want you to do? So, I mean, if you think about it, like there's a lot of social media scheduling tools out there. Metricool is one of my favorites. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. And I
No.
get it. You can just tap a button and you can be everywhere. It's that easy, folks. But
Mhm.
when you're everywhere, honestly, then you're nowhere because you're just adding in white noise. So if you look at your audience and say, okay, this is who my audience is on LinkedIn. And this is the demographics. This is what types of sales I've seen from them. This is what competitors are in my industry are doing on LinkedIn. How can I replicate that so that I can show up less? And that's
Mm.
really where I looked at all the data, all the different types of posts for different industries, different clients, and built out this 4 post strategy. And it comes down to saying, okay, this is my end goal. So, Angela, maybe it's to get people to listen to this podcast episode.
Sure.
Maybe that's your end goal. Is you want more downloads. You can't just show up and say, hey, new podcast alert, because honestly, nobody cares. Nobody
Right,
cares.
right.
I mean, they might be like, oh, okay, Katie Brinkley's on it. Whoop-de-doo. But like if they don't know who I am and my whole post less philosophy, they could care less,
Yeah.
honestly. And so how can you get people to pique their interest and be like, well, that's interesting, and answer questions for them that they didn't even know that they had. And it's by doing this 4 post strategy.
That's really interesting. So the 4 post strategy, and I'm just trying to understand a little bit better, is where you're posting, but you're very specific about the demographic or the audience that you're posting to.
Yeah, so for me, my largest audience is on Instagram, and I've
Yeah.
abandoned them.
Oh, gosh.
I love you guys, all of you, but I wasn't seeing the ROI there. It made me
Oh,
feel warm and
interesting.
fuzzy inside to get all the likes and stuff, and to be like, oh, look at I got more followers.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wasn't as a business owner, it was not converting for me.
Okay.
So I had to take a step back, and I was like, all right, well, I'm not really going to focus my efforts on Instagram anymore. So for me, I get all of a majority of my agency work from LinkedIn. And then I
Uh-huh.
get a lot of my coaching clients from Facebook.
Oh,
So I
interesting.
know who
Okay.
I'm talking to on those platforms. And those are two different audiences. So if I want to talk about an upcoming masterclass, or I'm looking for new leads, or I want to just talk about my book or something, I have to talk about it differently because I'm talking to different people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally does.
So
Okay.
now that I know who I'm talking to on each platform, now I've got know who I'm talking to. Now what is it that I want them to do? And
Mhm.
each week, or I mean like every month it could be something, or every week it could be something. But knowing what the end goal is. Could it be listening to the podcast? Could it be signing up for a master class? Could it be buying the book? Whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's your end goal. You're going to use your podcast or your blog as the content creator to get people to take that end action.
Okay. Okay. So,
Following me?
yeah, so there's always a call to action. Is that right? That there's always some sort of call
That's
to
the fourth
action.
post is always
Okay.
it's called that's the action post. So the four posts are awareness, elaboration, community, and action. So on the
Oh,
fourth post is that's the one that you're asking people to leave social media to go one step further with you,
yeah.
and doing that call to action. But those other three posts are all community driven and value driven.
Interesting. Okay. Very cool. So, and I probably flood LinkedIn with things because like I'll see a great article and I'm like, oh, people will really love this article. And then I'll flood it with like a podcast thing and then I'll have like something about my actual,
Yeah.
my other job. And so it just kind of is all over the place. And I'm like, I hope people are following me through all this because I feel like I can be a little all over the place and I'm probably not as structured as I should be on social media. But but I also feel like there's personal branding that I'm doing. And so
Mm-hmm.
personal brand comes into she's a CEO, but she's also talks about, her podcast and she also talks about, being a woman in business and so everything is somewhat relevant to who I am as a person, but they
Mm-hmm.
don't all have to do with the same thing. Is that
Yeah.
watering it down or do you think that that's okay?
I think it's okay. It just if you want to, like you said, you kind of are flooding LinkedIn. Just knowing what the end goal is
Yeah.
behind every post.
Okay.
And so I mean, like, so for me, some of our clients like that we do 4 posts a week for them, and then I say, okay, these days I don't care what you do, you can share, you can post this stuff. I want to do my strategy on these days. Don't touch it and mess it up.
Oh,
So I mean, they
interesting.
can still share posts or whatever on the other days. But I think that the biggest thing is knowing what's in it for your audience.
Hmm.
Why do they care? And LinkedIn is honestly, it has a great algorithm. It has a
Hmm.
great way of getting your message further out there. I've kind of stopped sharing other people's content from my account, and I've just started commenting on other people's content because it
Okay.
will still show up in your audience's feed that you commented on it, but now it's positioning you as a thought leader.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm
Okay.
like, oh, okay, well, Angela commented on Katie's post, blah, 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 blah. And then they can see your comment first, and then they'll see like, oh, well, this is what she was talking, commenting on. So yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a great point. And so one of the things, and I hear these things in passing, and I don't really do enough deep dive into figuring out whether there's validity to it. But I had read something where just sharing a post isn't necessarily going to help your algorithm. You have to share and comment about it. So,
Yes.
so I can't just like, hey, I can't just like share the
Yeah, it's kind of
post
a waste. Yeah.
blindly. Yeah, like you have to actually say something in the post, and then that way really will connect it.
Yep. That's exactly right. Yeah. I mean, if you want to share something, I 1000% agree that you should put in why you're sharing it. Like what's in it for them.
Right, right, right. Yeah, that's interesting because sometimes like I'll have, my social media people will post something on our company page and I'll
Yeah.
just share it, but I don't say anything. And people are like, nah, you kind of have to say something. I'm like, well, it's my company, so of course I agree. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but you still have to say something.
Yep, yep, exactly. And I think that, when you do that, it helps your audience know why you're sharing it, not just that,
Okay.
oh, it's your company, but like, I'm sharing this because I think XYZ or whatever.
Interesting. Okay. So talk to me about what you think about TikTok because I get all kinds of like my son, who is 18, has been saying for a few years, Mom, if you're not on TikTok, you're not on social media. And I was like, "Ma, I just don't want it. Like, I don't feel like my
You don't need
audience
to
is
be on it.
there. Yeah. I'm like, I don't think that my audience is there. I'm not going to dance to anything or like, be silly or goofy or show, share crazy, controversial opinions about anything. Like, if anything, I'm going to talk about my podcast. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, so, but TikTok is one of those things where I can't decide if it's something that we need to be on or not.
I'm not on TikTok.
Okay.
So, but I mean, for me, like I also abandoned Instagram. It's because I don't feel super confident on video.
Hmm.
Um, I would much rather be on a podcast or do a long form conversation like this. Like
Okay.
it's easier for me to create content that way. And yes, does this take way more time? Yeah, but I think that it builds great connection and
Mm,
I feel more comfortable sharing it this way. So if you're not on a platform and someone says, "Oh, you're not on Facebook, you should be on Facebook." Well, no, you don't. You don't need to do anything.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
you can be where you want to be. And there I mean, I think at the time of this recording, I think that TikTok is not going anywhere.
Right.
The ban has been extended again.
Hmm.
I think it's just going to keep doing that. So I think TikTok will stay. Personally, I just don't thrive off of TikTok. I don't like consuming content that way, and I don't like creating content that way. So
Hmm.
sure, can't if you want to. I mean, like one of our clients we manage, like she's got 100,000 followers on TikTok. She loves TikTok, but
Mm,
for me, it's just not my jam. Like,
yeah.
and so LinkedIn's your place. You can create content a ton of ways on LinkedIn. You can do polls, newsletters, videos, audio, all the things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Interesting. So what about, and this is kind of along the same lines as TikTok, and we're talking about video. Have you tried LinkedIn Live?
I have tried LinkedIn Live.
And
Yeah.
what are
And
your thoughts? I have not tried it.
live video for me, I'll tell you a little secret. It's tricky for me to go live right now. We're having a live conversation together,
Sure.
but if you said, okay, we're going to go ahead and live stream this, I'd be real nervous.
Yeah.
And nothing's changed.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm sitting in front of a studio audience or anything.
Right.
It just makes me nervous. So one thing that I do when I go live, quote unquote, is I use a tool called Restream.
Mm,
So you take a recorded video and then you upload it and it goes live like it would actually be going live on the platform. And that's kind of a little secret that I've used for going live on platforms because I'm not super confident doing it.
yeah. Yeah. That makes total sense. Can you edit those? Can you like
Yeah, I mean, like if
shorten
you wanted
it
to go,
or
yeah, yeah, totally.
yeah, because that would make me feel a lot better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like live video, like this is the thing. Some people are made for live video.
Yeah,
It makes
sure.
no difference to them. Some people love doing short form content. My account manager, she's amazing at short form content. But I mean, I can't get to the point. Listen to me.
Mm,
Like you're like, come on, Katie, I asked you a question and you're still talking. No, I mean, but I mean, like, I can't format myself to just go that way. It's just not how I'm wired. And
yeah.
we're all different, and that's what's great about social media. There's all these different platforms for you to create content the way you feel best creating it, and for you to consume content the way you best consume content.
Yeah, absolutely. And I totally agree with you. I had a media coach because she's like, well, if you're doing the podcast and you're doing this and you're CEO, you should have you should go out and do interviews on media. And I realized I hate that. Like I actually hate it because I'm so nervous and I have such a short amount of time to be able to respond to something and I can't get to the point quick enough for them to not want to cut away from me. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
tough.
Well, I mean,
It's
there's a
really
reason why
tough.
we podcast. It's a lot. I mean, I don't know. I love having conversations like this, and
Yeah.
I have my own show, and on Thursdays I do solo episodes, and the struggle bus for me to get it. They're supposed to be shorter episodes, and I'm like, oh, I want to make sure it's like 10 minutes, and it's always like 15 minutes. So yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know. Well, and I'm glad that, some of the social media has allowed for slightly longer videos because I can do those a little bit better when you have to do a short snippet. I'm like, I didn't say anything in that short amount of
Yeah.
time. Like, just went out there and mumbled a couple of things, but
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah. So, where do you see social media evolving? So, we're here in the TikTok and, LinkedIn Live and all of that. Where do you see this all evolving to?
Well, and it's interesting because AI's made such a headways with
Yeah,
everything over the past 2 years. Like 2 years ago, if you would, I actually had someone come up to me and say, "Hey, we'd love for you to be like our beta tester for our AI program." Da da da. And I was like,
interesting.
hard pass. I don't want to do anything with AI. Like I'm not gonna have a computer write for me. I'm not that lazy. And now, I mean, like I use ChatGPT every day. I mean, like always, I'm using different AI tools. So. The thing with AI and social media is I think that it's getting incredible. I mean, the latest
Mhm.
iteration of ChatGPT to come out, you can create some amazing images. And it's just getting smarter and it's just getting faster every single day. I'm so
Mhm.
glad that I don't own an AI SaaS company because goodness gracious, that would be a nightmare.
I don't know how
But
people sleep if they do that because I mean you're always it changes. By the time you wake up in the morning, it's a
I
whole
know,
different thing.
right?
So, yeah.
And so yeah, I think that we're going to continue seeing AI in our lives.
Hmm.
And I think that right now we're seeing a lot of lazy social media because of it.
So true.
Um, and I talked about the four post strategy. Like this four post strategy, you can do your entire month's worth of social media, like once you get it down, like in an hour. I'm not
Wow.
joking. You can do it very, very quickly because okay, this is my end goal, this is who I'm talking to, and how am I going to get people to get there? Take that action. It's repeatable. You do it every single week. But with AI, like I can, no one says delve. No one says
Yeah.
delve. I've never
Mhm.
once said treasure trove. So
Right.
I mean, like it's like blatantly obvious when people are just throwing something into ChatGPT and copying and pasting it and putting it out there and be like, all right, done.
Yeah.
And that's not what social media was made for. It was made for us to build connection and to get to know one another. Great thing, like some of it sounds lame. I'm not this lame, but I guess I am this lame. Some of my closest friends I've only met in real life like 2 or 3 times. But like we talk on social media all the time. I keep up to date with like where they're at, how their kids are doing, and then I see them once a year at a conference, but I still consider them some of my closest friends. And that's what social media can do. And if we're replacing ourselves with robots, then like so much of the magic will be gone.
Yeah. Well, and this is kind of off topic, but somewhat related is, I think that's why class reunions aren't a thing as much anymore because like we've tried to have class reunions over the past several years
Yep.
and they all keep it up with each other on Facebook. So they don't feel the need to get together. It's not like,
Yep.
our parents' generation where, you go to your 20-year class reunion, you're like, whatever happened to Bob? Hey, oh yeah. And
Yeah.
you don't know unless you go to the class reunion, other than like rumors around town. But like you have
Yeah.
to like physically go see people. And with the way we are now, it's like, oh yeah, I know him. He just took a new job and I haven't talked to him in 20 years, but I know everything
Yep.
about his life because he posted it all on Facebook. So, it's different. Like I don't feel like that connection has to be as, like we're able to kind of at least keep up. And that way when
Yeah.
we do see each other, it's not like, oh, what have you been up to? Because you literally know. You literally know everything they've been up to because it's all
Yep.
on social media.
It's
So,
crazy, right? And I think, yeah, I mean, I think I'm supposed to have had, what year is it? My 25-year reunions next year or something.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I have no plans of going to it. Zero.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I really don't care about going at all because I'm like, oh, well, can see what everyone's up to, on Facebook.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't have to like catch up with them that, once every 5, 10 years because you see their life in action on social
Yeah.
media. So
Yeah.
yeah, totally true. But yeah, I've been in charge of planning the last couple and I'm done with that. Like I'm
Yeah.
done. I'm
Yeah.
done. All the effort I've put into it and the whole consensus is feel the
Yeah.
need to go. So
Yep. For sure.
what trends are you seeing right now on social media?
So right now, I definitely see a lot of AI. Like I said
Yeah.
earlier, I think that there's so many tools coming out, like AI, like comment responders, and then you
Hmm.
can create amazing graphics now with AI, and it's it's going to be really interesting over the next. I was like a year ago, I would have said 5 years, but I think over the next year, just to
Oh, it's
see
crazy.
what happens because. I mean, like there's tools that I use like Syllabi, like that's a way that like I've like digitally cloned my voice. So like I can read certain things for like, short form video roles. I mean, there's just so many things out there that are just changing the way that we show up in our world and online. And I think for social media, it's going to be more important than ever to proactively try and be present. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Hmm.
So whether it's through a Facebook group or going live on LinkedIn or just having conversations with people in the DMs that are actual conversations, not just bots,
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to be the differentiators is the you aspect, the the person at the business. That's going to be what people are going to find connection with. And if use AI. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not here to say don't use it. Use it as your co-pilot. But I mean, like, you still need to be the one like landing the plane.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think the human element is a big factor. Do you see people coming back together to do networking?
Yeah,
Because I can see that people are missing that human interaction, and I can definitely see more of an emphasis on people engaging in person lately. But a lot of those connections are made on social media. Like
yep,
my
that's
my
exactly it.
son is a perfect example. Like he will go, we went to Dominican Republic, and there was somebody there that he knew only from social media. And so they were able to connect in Dominican Republic, but they only ever met on social media. And so it's kind of interesting to see,
Yeah,
like you make friends in a like alternate universe, and then
yeah,
somehow you come together in person. So
that's exactly it. Yeah, I
yeah.
think that it's well, I don't think that, you know, AI, like VR, like the goggles, the
Yeah, yeah.
headsets and stuff. I don't think any of that stuff's gonna change. I think that's gonna become even more prevalent.
Hmm.
You know, Meta spent a bunch of money during the Super Bowl to promote their Meta Ray-Ban,
Mm,
glasses. I
right.
think that that's just the beginning. I
Yeah.
mean, I can see those glasses being just the beginning of like, okay, oh, hold on, and then like all of a sudden like voice talking with someone like hologram in front of you or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that all that's going to be make it so that we can have these social media relationships and, just the tap of a button with some cool glasses, we can be quote unquote sitting in the same room together. I know it sounds
Yeah.
a little futuristic, but man, the more that like Minority Report, like all that stuff that they were doing in Minority Report, that movie and I, Robot, I'm like, the future's coming to life.
Yeah. It really is. Like it's crazy how much of that stuff is actually occurring right now. Like I was complaining that I was like, my inbox is out of control. And uh, my son was like, well, there's this tool and it just goes through all of your emails. I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah.
this is crazy. Like, I was thinking to myself, like, I need an assistant. And he's like, no, you just need a nap. Like,
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
need a nap.
I have that app. Well, I have an inbox app, and it's great. It reads my emails, drafts up responses for me, clears out the stuff that doesn't make sense. Like, yeah, this is just promo. Kick
Yeah.
it out. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this is great. Yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
$10 a month.
Which one do you use?
Serif.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I've been trying to go through them and figure out which one is going to be legit and which one's just going to, because I was like, it'll take me a month to learn all this stuff
Yeah,
before I can
yeah. Serif
program
is
it.
the one that I use. Serif, and
Okay.
yeah, you just super affordable.
Yeah. Yeah.
You do have to give it access to your inbox, but I mean,
Right.
like,
Right.
it was a no-brainer.
Yeah. That's definitely what I need with my 6,300 unread
Yes,
emails.
you definitely need one. Yeah.
So, but that's good stuff. But anyway, so what else? So as somebody who is, I have a personal brand, like I was saying, I've got my podcast and I've got I'm the CEO of a security company.
Yeah.
So how important is it to continually build that brand awareness? And then how do you focus? Because like if I've got three different things that I want to try to build on, how do I kind of reach the people that I want to reach without confusing them?
Yeah, so you're in a really cool spot. I think that you are the next wave of influencers.
Mm,
And I don't know if like I wish that there was a better way of saying influencer because I think a lot of us think of like, Kim Kardashian or whatever
right.
like that. But
Yeah.
the CEO is the best person to be the spokesperson for your
Hmm.
business
Hmm.
because that way you can share, hey, this is my podcast. This is what I think about this in the industry. This is what's going on here. This is where I'm speaking. This is where I'm networking. And they're like, oh, yeah, Angela, she has this great company. I see
Hmm.
she's so smart. She's always giving back
Hmm.
to me, her audience. And honestly, you know, personal pages get better reach than company pages. So by you stepping into the spotlight as the CEO, you are then getting way more reach than your company page ever will without having a paid ad.
Yeah.
So this is, I think, the best way to grow your business. Step into the spotlight, having that podcast and amplifying what your differentiator is. And then people will say, well, of course I want to do business with Angela because
Yeah.
I look at all the ways that they're different, and so I think that it's the right way to do things.
Well, thank you. That makes me feel really good about it because sometimes I'm like, am I just throwing out everything and like, just seeing what sticks? But ultimately you're right. I mean, I do feel like the company has grown as I have grown,
Yeah.
as my network has grown on social media, the company now benefits from that because, like Titan, we were just a small regional company, but we have a more national presence because of how much I do, with speaking engagements and with the podcast and other things, because we do get that, bigger exposure. It's not just the people who know us locally, but, me talking about it on the podcast and on social media is also a
Yeah.
big factor.
Yep. It's the way to do it. And I think that, like a lot of people get nervous about stepping into the spotlight,
Hmm.
but especially when you have the four-post strategy, it makes it
Yeah.
so that you're strategic with what you say, you're showing up and giving value with every post, you're not just wasting someone's time,
Hmm.
and you're helping amplify the bigger message of what your business does and how you can serve your audience.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm a big believer in like, write white papers and blogs and, kind of be a thought leader. And I mean, even when we interview now, like when I'm interviewing for managers, I'm like, look, if I'm the only thought leader in the company, then I've got
Mm-hmm.
the wrong management team. Like, I want you
Yeah.
all to be thought leaders. I want,
Yeah.
and the bad thing is with that is I'm constantly having recruiters call my managers and try to recruit them because I am pushing them to do more on LinkedIn. And the more of a following you have and the more of a
Yeah.
presence you have, the more noticeable you are. And then recruiters are knocking down their doors, and I'm like, okay, leave my people alone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a double-edged sword, but at the same time, I do want them to be thought leaders. Like I want them to have, that credibility in the market because it does matter.
Yeah. And it's true. And I think that I love that you're empowering your employees because it's the more that we can all share online, the
Mhm.
more the business will be seen. And, it's that's what people want to do business with people.
Yeah,
It's as easy as that.
so
And if
true.
if they know who they're working with, it's going to make a world of difference.
Well, and one of the things I love about the podcast is, I have a business persona, right? Like,
Hmm.
and that can come across as somewhat unapproachable, right? And so when you have a business, persona, then you might not be as approachable. But my podcast, I'm very vulnerable. I'm very transparent. Like
Hmm.
I don't mind making mistakes. I don't mind, telling people how I really feel about things. And so, but I think that vulnerability helps to connect. And so that additional ability for people to understand who I am and what I stand for helps people to connect with me and know that I'm a real person and not just, an executive at a company.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So you talked about LinkedIn was or Instagram wasn't converting for you, but
Yeah.
LinkedIn does. So what does converting mean, and how do you measure that?
Yeah, so, I've written a book, The Social Shift, and
Uh-huh.
I have a podcast, but I noticed that while it was I love my podcast and I love selling my book, but I mean honestly, like that's my lo like podcast is free. Um,
Yeah.
and the book is $15.
Yeah.
So that's where I was selling my book and that's where I was getting podcast downloads was from my audience on Instagram. It lined up really well. Whenever I would ask questions, they were always chiming in. So I was like, okay, well, what if I handed this off to one of my assistants and they just
Hmm.
did the podcast promotion and handled all of that. And then we took over for, I can focus my actual time of writing posts and putting thought into things on these other platforms because it's not it's not worth my time to hopefully get 15 bucks a week,
Right.
for all
Right.
the effort that it takes on social media. So that's why I decided to kind of, as I said, abandon Instagram because I wasn't getting those agency clients. I
Hmm.
wasn't getting those coaching clients from Instagram. They
Hmm.
just that's not who my demographic was there. They were a lot of do-it-yourselfers. which is
Right.
cool. That's fine. That's fine. Buy my book, buy
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, but um, on LinkedIn, that's where I can get my, $3,000 a month clients. Like it's way worth my time to just write really good copy and engage over there and spend my time there when I'm doing my social media time because it has a better ROI.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I mean like really looking at your data. And if you don't know how to do this, if you're set up as a LinkedIn creator account, you can get this data. If you're an Instagram creator, Facebook creator, they give you all of these all the data and all the metrics.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know I mentioned Metricool earlier. That one you have to pay for it, but I mean it's
Mm-hmm.
not expensive. But that's a paid tool, and it puts everything into one, doc. But you can check everything out on LinkedIn and Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everything for free. You just have to know where to look. And I do recommend doing it at least once a quarter because you might be surprised. And honestly, ask your audience. There's been times where on LinkedIn, I was like, I don't know if anyone here would really be a good, you know, lead for my
Yeah.
next master class. I was like, who here has a podcast? That was all my
Mm-hmm.
question was, and I wanted to see like, okay, on Facebook, I had like X amount of people commenting back, I have a podcast. And then on LinkedIn, I only had X amount. And I was like, okay, yeah. So Facebook's definitely where I need to go in and like pitch this next master class because
Yeah.
my audience here, way more of them have a podcast. Not to say that the
Okay.
LinkedIn people didn't matter, but I could be like, what I could sell them something else. I could do something
Mm,
else for
absolutely.
them.
Okay, very cool. So, what obstacles did you have to overcome when you were starting your business? Because I know you said you had gotten laid off, and then you're like, all right, I'm going to take a leap and I'm going to go do my own thing. So, tell me what obstacles you had to overcome to do that.
I think that the biggest obstacle was myself.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know what I didn't know.
Uh-huh.
And hiring, I took too long to hire my first employee. I took too long to hire my first coach. I took too long to hire my COO. And, all of that, it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's like, oh, well, I'm taking away money, but honestly, it's just going to help you make more.
Yeah.
Really, it helps you make
Mm-hmm.
more. Uh, my very first coach that I invested in was $10,000, and I remember I lost so much sleep over it, and I was like,
Really?
gosh, what have I done? I can't believe I'm spending this much money, and it was the best thing I did for my business because
Really?
well, I mean, he could have, since I invested so much money, he could have said, Katie, go run across the street naked, and I guarantee it's gonna. And I've been okay, sure, whatever you say,
Right.
because I'm trusting you. But I think find a coach that you can trust, invest in staff, invest in your team, and find a good team because that was some of the biggest things that I held back on. Um, I was the holdup with a lot of processes, and so hiring that COO was great because like I was the bottleneck. I thought everything
Mhm.
needed to go through me. I thought everything needed, like, oh, well, I know this client really well. The client really trusts how I'm doing things. It's like, well, no, I've trained my entire team on my strategies, on my philosophies. I've hired people that honestly, in some aspect, like my brand account manager, she's incredible at short form video, like I said. Like
Mm-hmm.
I suck at it. That's why I hired her, is because she's better at it than me. So I mean,
Yeah.
this is just where I think when I first started, I just didn't know what I didn't know. Like now, that'd be one of the very first things I would do is like, okay, when I'm building a business, I'm going to hire these people.
Yeah, I did the exact same thing that you did. I waited way too long to hire my first employee. I waited way too long to start delegating. I still thought everything had to go through me, and then it was me being the bottleneck and stopping. I was stunting our growth, like I
Yeah,
was the reason we weren't able to get through. And I finally have gotten out of my own way, but I'm still learning. I'm still work in progress for sure. So,
yeah. It's, that's the joys of entrepreneurship, right?
yeah, sure is. So, what advice would you give to your 18-year-old self?
Yeah. I think that for me, I was always meant to be an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
but I needed to do some of the other jobs in order to understand, okay, this is what I want to do and to
Yeah.
get some of the learnings. Um, I think there's nothing wrong. being an entrepreneur. I think a lot of us are, like, okay, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you go to college and then this and this and this. And um, it's not to say my college education is a waste of
Mhm.
time. By no means is it. But I think that learn from as many events as you can. Go to networking events.
Mhm.
Learn from those around you because there's a lot out there. Like YouTube is free university.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great tools out there. There's a lot of very smart people out there. And the more people you know, the more people you talk to, the, the faster you'll grow.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you because um that was one of the things, like I got out of college and then I just doubted myself because I had a psychology degree. I didn't have a business degree and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not ready to be an entrepreneur, but you learn as you go and those are the most valuable lessons that you can ever learn. And by
And by making
waiting,
mistakes. Yeah.
yeah, and by waiting, you're not learning anything, right? All you're doing is, delaying the inevitable. You're going to have to learn hard lessons. Just get comfortable with that and you'll
Yeah.
be okay.
Yep.
So, so one of the things I asked all of my guests is, as women, we give away our power, a lot. And so, and that comes in many different forms. But can you tell me about a way that you gave away your power and maybe another time that you stepped into your power?
Yeah, I think that, one of the things that for me, and I'm sure a lot of your listeners and you too, is I get the decision fatigue.
Yeah, yeah,
I get real tired at the end of the day from making a lot of decisions. And it's hard because I'm a planner.
yeah,
I like
yeah.
planning things. I like knowing where I'm going and stuff. And being just releasing that and saying to my husband and saying like, I got decision fatigue. I can't make a call on dinner tonight. Like you
Hmm.
literally work from home. Like I can't do it, you know.
Right.
So I think that telling people when you are feeling, overwhelmed or when you do need to take a step back, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with not making all the decisions.
Yeah, yeah, that's so true. Yeah, and it does get overwhelming sometimes. And sometimes I'll just sit there and I'll look at my son and be like, you know what, tonight we're having Chinese from across the street because
Heck
I don't
yeah.
want to think about anything else. So yeah, absolutely. So I've really enjoyed our conversation. This has been really, really fun. But one more question that I have for you is, what do you wish more people knew?
Uh, Probably to enjoy uh the one-on-ones,
Mm,
really to enjoy talking with people, enjoy being in real life. I think that, especially my daughter, she's getting older.
yeah.
A lot of her friends are getting phones. And,
Hmm.
I'm like, just enjoy being with them in the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah, yeah. It's so important because my son's about to graduate from high school and we just went on a spring break trip and so many vacations, I recall kind of working and not really being there for him. So I made a very mindful decision this week or last week that I was not working at all. And that was one of the hardest things to do because you're constantly like, I should be doing this. I should be doing this. You're like, I know these emails are stacking up, but you have to make a conscious decision to be present because the work will never stop, but
No.
the children will definitely get older and move out.
Well, and yeah, I mean, we only get one life, so
Yep.
let's make it count. So, social
Hmm.
media is a great tool, but don't have
Hmm.
it take over your life.
Yes, absolutely. So this has been really fun. So Katie, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can check me out online.
Okay.
LinkedIn's my favorite, Katie
Hmm.
Brinkley. I have a podcast. It's called Rocky Mountain Marketing.
Nice.
And yeah, if I'd love to connect with anyone, check out my book. It's katiebrinkley.com/book.
Very cool. Well, and I will be out in Denver this month because
Yay.
we're working on the Denver Pride event. So we've
Oh,
got a meeting
cool.
out there. So are you in Denver?
Yeah, I'm actually just in South Denver, so
Nice. Our
I'm off
office
of,
is there.
okay, yeah, like South Broadway is where I'm located.
Oh, very beautiful. Okay, very cool. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been an enjoyable conversation and I wish you tremendous amounts of luck with everything that you're doing.
Thanks again for having me.
Absolutely. And we will catch everybody the next time on the Pretty Powerful Podcast. Have an amazing day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining our guests on the Pretty Powerful Podcast. And we hope you've gained new insight and learned from exceptional women. Remember to subscribe or check out this and all episodes on prettypowerfulpodcast.com. Visit us next time. And until then, step into your own power.